Shambles, everyone. We are here in Beaumont, Texas at the MCM Elegante. Shooting today, or this whole month actually, we'll be at the Elegante.
Yeah, we're talking about the power of positivity. We are just jumping right in, and we want you to jump right in with us. So go to Facebook, join the conversation. We always want to know your feedback. Angles is all about our perspective and your perspective. So don't forget to join the conversation today. Now listen, today we have a lot of great hot topics.
Yes.
One of our first hot topic is we want to talk about something that we see more and more of. And I'm going to tell you, actually, it was social media and people on social media that brought this out to me. And they were saying, we're sick of all the positivity. So, positivity is a word that we always use. We're always throwing it around. But they're starting to feel like, hey, y'all always use that word, or people always use that word. And, there needs to be a balance. And so, Jennie, what do you think about it? Do you relate, and can you understand where they're coming from, or you feel like they tripping out?
Okay. I try to be positive, I try to be upbeat, but there are some days when I'm at the grocery store and the lady behind the counter is too happy, I'm just mad.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm jealous. Maybe I want to be that positive and I just have not achieved it yet.
Well, this is the thing that I'm seeing more and more of. Sometimes I see that we are, I think being positive is good.
Yes,
I do. I think it's good.
Is.
I think that it's powerful even.
And I think it's necessary.
And it's necessary, true. But I think sometimes it's delusional. I think sometimes people we're so positive sometimes that we don't like to face the truth.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Okay, so positivity on social media is not positivity in real life.
Yeah.
And you and I are very real.
Yeah.
Even though I do check Facebook all the time, so please go on and tell us what you think. But the reality is life is not always positive.
Right.
So can you have a balance between the positive life, but accepting and dealing with the things life throws at you? Because they're not all positive.
And I have this saying, and I try to teach it to the young people that I influence. The good builds your confidence. Mm-hmm. The bad builds your character.
True.
And so I really feel like without bad things happening even, I'm a Christian. It's no secret I'm a Christian, and I'm a woman of faith. Mm-hmm. And so I believe even in that faith is not about saying nothing bad will happen. It's about saying, in spite of what happens, I have faith to overcome.
Yep.
I have faith that I won't be defeated by it. I have faith in God and in His ability to make this work for my good. Mm-hmm. That's to me, positivity is not just saying that nothing bad will happen, or I won't go through bad. And so I've seen people going through things and they're like, oh, it's okay. Sometimes it's not okay.
No, it's not okay. And your version of traumatic is not the same version of traumatic that I have. So, my experience that you may say, oh, what is wrong with her? That wasn't even anything. Well, it may not be anything to you, but to me, that was hell that I was going through in the midst of that.
But you said something about trauma. See, what happens is when we overuse the word positivity, I feel like it makes trauma even worse. Because it makes people, when you go through traumatic experiences, mm-hmm. it'll almost make you think you're the only person going through bad things, or you're the only person experiencing that. And I think it's just an unrealistic expectation that I just think we need to balance. Because I think somewhere in here there's this unrealistic expectation of what life will be about. Nobody wants to go through anything. No one wants to have a broke day. No one wants to have, and I don't want a broke day either,
No.
But no one wants to have I don't want to have a bad hair day, but shoot, sometimes it's a wig day,
Ponytail day.
And so, a wig day. So clearly, we have to have, I think we just need to balance. And we want to know what your thoughts are, because do you feel like people are being so positive, that we're drunk with positivity, or do you think that we need to, that it's good, because some people feel like we just need to be positive. We just need to, and I think that's good, but I think that the other parts are necessary. I don't always think that we go to a meeting and it's always positive. I think we fear challenges, we fear confrontation, we fear things that even with talking to people, we fear things that
The unknown.
Yeah, we fear the unknown. We fear it, and so I have my ideas about that. Like, okay, we're just gonna keep being positive. No, sometimes we need to deal with stuff, and we need to be honest about it.
Well, and I think too, positivity is a necessary thing in your life. However, I feel like you have to be accepting of some negativity. I think that's kind of where some of the problem is. It's like we can be positive, we're here, we're positive, but the downside is you're wearing a wig and I have my hair in a ponytail because the humidity is awful.
Don't do that. But let me tell you this, that here's my only fear. My fear is that we're going to mask things and not really deal with them. And so,
major things.
Yeah, we're going to mask the things that we need to deal with. Even in, with social media sets to me if you let it, but you don't have to let it, but it sets such a false standard. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to let it, because you can be a person that sits back and say there is no way. You can sit back and look and say, I've seen 10 pictures of you in a week, and that does not sum up your week. I just saw 10 pictures of you. It sum up 10 moments in your life.
Right.
It doesn't sum up your actual life, And so, and the reason why I'm saying that, or why I'm sharing that, is because there are people stressing out and depressed and are feeling like, I failed at life because I'm watching someone else's life.
Do better than you.
Yes, I'm failing as a mother because that mother took her child to Disney and bought her child this, or I'm failing as a wife because she did this for her husband, or husbands that feel like I'm failing as a husband because he did this for his wife. I'm failing as a dad because of that. When do we stop and say, hey, let's get rid of all the false pretense. Let's see what we are. Let's thank God for where we've come.
Exactly. And not only that, but is some of that just bragging moments?
Yeah.
Because everything is a moment. Mm-hmm. So the moment that you're on Facebook bragging about your child is a moment.
Not to mention that, some people get on Facebook and they say things like, bought school clothes, and I'm like, so did all of the rest of us, And so, we're enjoying the hot topics, but this is something that we were asked to cover. Like,
yes.
And when is enough is enough? You may have parents that even say, hey, took my child for a haircut, or I cooked. I hope, And so things like that go on every day. Mm-hmm. And, we just don't, I fear that, it's kind of, we do a lot of mommy shaming, a lot of wife shaming, a lot of woman shaming, and family shaming. We do a lot of that, maybe inadvertently, but we do it because we set these false standards, And so we just want to share with you guys today to just be free from those standards. Don't take on that extra weight. I heard someone say, Dr. Juanita Bonham, actually. I heard Dr. Juanita Bonham say you'll take on false weights. And, she began to share more and more about getting free from those weights and carrying that false expectation and false standard. And, get free from that. Right, get free from that. And so, you guys, we're going to continue our hot topic. We want to know what you think about it. Are you sick of it? Some people are sick of it. I'm not sick of it, but some people are sick of it. And maybe you are sick of it. But we want to know. So, you guys, join us. Join the conversation. Get on Facebook. Let us know that you're watching. Hit us up, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Are you looking for a place to shop, have fun, and feel empowered, and connect with other women who are just like, you? Welcome to Curve Game Matters. Here, we believe every woman is beautiful, Our goal is to instill body positivity in all women, regardless of race, ethnicity, shape, or size. Because a figure with curves offers a lot of interesting angles, we offer an array of accessories and products on our website that caters to the curvy goddess in you. We've got beautiful t-shirts, hoodies, socks, and totes, fashion calendars. We even have a book entitled Curve Game Matters that puts an emphasis on the importance of what it means to have a positive body image and healthy self-esteem. Every woman's God-given beauty is unique. That's why Curve Game Matters is not just a brand, it's a movement. Join us by visiting us online today at curvegamematters.com.
Welcome back. Oh, I stole it again, but hey, guess what? We are back, and we are so excited. Jennie, you excited?
I am excited, even though you took my welcome back.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm excited because we're finally talking about something that is near and dear to my heart. Too much positivity on social media.
Yeah.
Because, it makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
I am a mom, so my kids go to school sometimes. Hey, we can't all look good on the same day, people. If I'm looking really good, you never know what they're going to look like. And if they're looking really good, you never know what I'm going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but do you think that it's men or women who are worse about being too positive, or maybe being fakely positive?
Oh, of course, women. Yeah, women would be. I think that women have more pressure.
True.
I think men don't care. I grew up in a house with all boys, and so I had a sister, but I was mostly around my brothers because my sister was older than I was, and then I had boys, and so I think that boys can put on shorts, shoes with no socks, a t-shirt, go out the door. Most of the boys now in our family have dreads or something, but they can just look and they're put together.
Any kind of way.
Yeah.
Hey, go to the beach.
Yeah.
I get so mad every time I go to the beach. I know I get mad at myself because I don't look as good as everybody else in that bathing suit. But I get mad because men can look like anything.
Yeah, they can. And then women, so I think.
And then when I take my cover up off, everybody's
clear the block. I heard that joke a long time ago. My cousin said that if I clear the block. But anyway, I think that women have to be. I feel like women succumb to the pressure more of having to be positive, having to just constantly live up to other people's standards, and so it puts a lot of weight on you as a woman. Just a lot of pressure,
Right.
Where you're always feeling like you don't meet up. And
or being scrutinized too much.
I was just actually talking to my pastor about that women, one of the parts of my pastor, the women constantly have that pressure being put on them, and so we constantly feel like we have to measure up, and it's good to be positive, but it's also good to say, look, my hair is not done.
Right.
My hair is not done. I'm not putting makeup on, or I'm not going to weigh myself down to build an image or to obtain an image or maintain an image for someone else. That's what I think is good.
Right. And weighing yourself down isn't just physically. That's mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
I mean, many different forms of weight and burden, for sure.
And naturally too. Naturally too. But I think that's where I think women have to take their take their contentment back. Take it out of the hands of people, take it back and say, wait a minute, I'm allowing too much outside stuff to determine what's going on inside of me. We have to get to the point where we really start just finding that oneness in ourselves, being one with ourselves, and we're no longer heavily just weighed down because somebody else wants us to measure up to a standard that they gave us.
Right.
And then we adopt those standards. We absorb, I won't say adopt, we absorb those standards because we feel so pressured by society. Yeah, so.
Or a standard they don't hold themselves to.
Maybe that's true.
That's another show.
Maybe that's true, I don't know. But listen, talking about women and standards, there's this thing even going on with women in the workplace, gender equality, And so we have women who constantly feel like they have to work harder, they have to be smarter, they have to, you have to perform so much greater. And I'm gonna tell you, even as a woman in leadership in my city, and you as a woman in leadership and a woman in a leading career field, that sometimes you're good. You're just good at what you do, but you're not good enough for other people. And I feel the weight of that, and I have to come back and pull back and say, you know what? I am good at this. I'm not going to let you take that from me.
Right.
Because that's what happens. Society will say, I'll just use for instance, the same job that a man may work and he makes $50,000 a year, and a woman works it and she makes $45,000 a year, and she's better than him at the job. Well, I'm not going to let that $5,000 gap define me. I'm good at what I do, and I'm good at who I do this, and I'm set apart at doing it. And so I think we have to take that back and not let how people define us as women.
True.
Yeah. Because there's so much going on with the gender equality, and when you get into race, that's a whole different story. But right now, just gender equality as women, we constantly feel the weight of measuring up. And I'm pretty sure in the insurance field, you experience that all the time.
It's constant. I'm the kind of person in general who pushes myself, and it's not that I want to be better than you, but I want to be the best.
Yeah.
So you can be good, but I want to be just a little bit better at my job.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm not supporting you. It's because that's my drive.
Yeah.
And that's my validation, I guess you could say, for myself.
Yeah.
Is to be the best.
Yeah.
But when I don't see myself as the best, or when, to be honest with you, I've never had a man coworker in my field. I've really worked with women.
Yeah.
Only women. So I can't even relate to that, really.
Yeah.
Because I've done insurance for 14 years now.
Yeah.
So,
well, I've done business development and ministry. I've been in ministry 20 years. And so I'm right at 20 years, 18 years. But women in ministry, I've been surrounded by it.
Yeah.
So, and then if you're good in ministry, oh Lord, so I've been surrounded by it, and I'm going to tell you that it has reshaped. It has reshaped me. But this is why I want to share that the good was good, but the bad made me.
Yeah.
It made me tough. My pastor told me once, and when she initially told me this, I was like, what? But she said, you better toughen up, And so I was like, I'm tough, but then I realized I really wasn't that tough because the weight of people's opinions and all that would break me.
It was still affecting you, whether you realized it or not.
Tremendously. Yeah. And so it took a lot for me to really learn how to toughen up and to not let their standard for me become my standard for me. You're not setting my standard for me.
Right.
You're not setting my standard. And so, girl.
And that may be part of why I want to be the best.
Yeah.
Because I want to be in control of my standard.
Yeah.
You can't expect any more of me than I already expect of myself if I already want that.
Well, even with wanting to be the best, I think for myself, I want to know that I gave my all.
Right.
Because someone may be better than me, but I want to be content with what I gave and know that it was all that I had to give. And I think it's a difference.
Yes, there is, absolutely.
And later on today on our show, we're going to have a very special guest for you guys because we're pushing this, and we are pushing that as a society. We have to get back to the place where we shape our own ideas about things. I was thinking the other day, I was sitting and watching TV, and a commercial came on, and it said, pizza. And I was like, well, maybe I'll order a pizza. Then the commercial came on right after that, and it said, fruit. Then I said, well, you know what, I'm just going to get some fruit. Then a cereal commercial came on, and I was like, well, just forget all that. I'm just going to eat some cereal. But this is my point. My point is, we often let outside forces shape our ideas about what we're going to do, and we do it subconsciously without even knowing.
Right, it's subliminal.
Yes, subliminally we are being molded. Mm-hmm. And so Angles is all about saying, hold on, we better take the reins on our thoughts and stop letting outside forces determine what we're thinking as women, as people.
Right.
And so when we come back, we have a very special guest here. She made history. She fought, she won. She fought, she won again. She is a historical figure forever. We don't want you to miss her. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a place to shop, have fun, and feel empowered, and connect with other women who are just like, well, you? Welcome to Curve Game Matters. Here, we believe every woman is beautiful. Our goal is to instill body positivity in all women, regardless of race, ethnicity, shape, or size. Because a figure with curves offers a lot of interesting angles, we offer an array of accessories and products on our website that caters to the curvy goddess in you. We've got beautiful t-shirts, hoodies, socks, and totes, fashion calendars. We even have a book entitled Curve Game Matters that puts an emphasis on the importance of what it means to have a positive body image and healthy self-esteem. Every woman's God-given beauty is unique. That's why Curve Game Matters is not just a brand, it's a movement. Join us by visiting us online today at curvegamematters.com.
Welcome back. Listen, she is one of my favorite people right now. She has been making history and making all types of she's everywhere. And so she made history a couple years ago. We're excited to have her here with us. Please welcome Sheriff Zena Stephens.
Thank you.
Yes, we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you.
And so tell us a little bit about, there's some people that don't know you. I know you. I know that you made history. But for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about Sheriff.
Well, I am homegrown, so that means I was born in Jefferson County. I grew up and went to high school and college in Beaumont. I think the most important thing, I'm a graduate of Lamar University.
All right.
Joined the police academy and became a Beaumont police officer. Started on the streets.
Wow.
Shortly after, spending time there, I realized I loved helping the community. Yeah. And police work, for me, is not just about all the bad stuff you see on cops, putting people in jail.
Yeah.
We can make a difference.
Yes.
And so early in my career, after I arrest people, I'd go home and clean out my closet and pass out sweaters.
Yeah.
Because I understand, and I did very early in my career, that sometimes people do things because they're victims of their circumstances. So,
Wow.
I wanted to become, as I promoted, I kept seeing those things. Also saw, I think in our country right now, you hear a lot of conversations about who police officers are.
Yeah.
Most of them are great, but I also know that there's some that are not so good.
Yeah.
And so what could I do to make a difference, to hire a different kind of officer?
Yeah.
And so I decided to run for sheriff. After I finished raising my daughter, she graduated from college. Husband retired, and I said, it's about me now.
Yeah.
How can I, give something back to the community?
Wow. How long were you a police officer?
Before I became sheriff, or decided to run, right at 28 years.
Wow. Well, first of all, let me just tell you, you're a good-looking sister.
Well, thank you.
They say, and Jennie, you've heard it. They say black don't crack.
Well,
and
thank
so
you.
I'm telling you, 28 years. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, and
that's
so
awesome.
So this year, it'll be 30 years.
30 years.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're gonna have to throw you a party.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to throw a little Angles party for Sheriff Stephens.
Yes.
And so that's awesome. So you say you have a daughter, one child.
One child who, I think that's another important reason that I do what I do. I think, raising her, I didn't want to do it the way I think traditionally, especially black women, have been raised, to kind of be a follower. Yeah. And so I spent a lot of time, raising her to be independent. and to be smart and to be a thinker, and mix all that with a lot of compassion.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud to say that she is a wonderful woman who's already given back, to the community.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you sound so strong and tough and just and I think that's what they expect of all black women. So let me ask you a question. Were you able to get that message over to her that you're going to have to be tough?
Yeah, and, but also, and now that she's a woman and she is married, I even talked to her about being vulnerable too.
Yeah.
It's okay. I think, and I was very blessed and fortunate to have my mom and dad growing up. Everybody doesn't have that. So my mom and dad, they're still together. They're still, very important part of my life. And so I think the importance of that, and it's very significant that most women statistically are successful if their fathers are in their lives.
Yeah.
And so my husband is still, in my life and in her life. And so, and I guess my point is, in addition to that, and me preaching and teaching to her certain things, but
Just brought a balance.
yeah, it brought an equal balance. And now, again, I find myself every now and then saying, hey, let your husband be the guy. Because I have to remind myself of that.
Yeah.
Because he'll tell me, Miss Zena, she won't even let me, I raised her to be independent for a reason. In case things don't work out, you can take care of yourself. But if you're lucky and blessed enough to have that guy in your life, it's okay for us to let guys open the doors. I like that. I still want to be treated like a lady.
Yeah. And you talked about letting the husband take the lead. So, and
I didn't necessarily say take the lead.
you didn't say take the lead. Well, let me get on to the question because I don't want to do too much with it. But let me tell you, you made history a couple of years ago, and many people may not know this about you. But tell us a little bit about that. First of all, what happened? I know what happened, but you made history as the first African American
Sheriff
and woman.
So we made a lot of history. In Jefferson County, I became the first African American and the first female sheriff in Jefferson County. In the state of Texas, I became the first African American woman in the great big state of Texas.
Yeah, I know.
In our country, there's only 2.
Wow.
And so we made a lot of historical accomplishments. I'm very proud of them. I didn't do that by myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have, first of all, I'm off the shoulders, and I've never forgotten that, of so many people. And there are a lot of famous people that I'm thankful that did some things to make sure that I get here, but simple people that we always forget.
Yes.
My grandparents, who went through so much to make sure that their kids knew that it was important for us to be educated. And so I don't take any of that lightly. My grandparents, all of them combined, probably didn't have a 4th grade education. Yeah. But you know what? They worked hard, and they made sure that we knew we were loved. Yeah. My parents make sure that we knew we were loved. And so there are some things culturally, I think, if we don't have money, you could still succeed.
Yeah.
I know that I never knew we weren't rich, Yeah. And I remember having peanut butter sandwiches with syrup, and it didn't get any better when my grandmother, and I tease people, everybody's going to Starbucks. We were doing Starbucks before it was Starbucks. I had coffee milk every Sunday with my grandmother, and
and black if you want it.
Exactly. But they made us feel important and special, and there was never a time that I didn't think that I could achieve anything because of that kind of love.
Yeah. When you talked about that peanut butter and syrup, I didn't know we were poor either.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you do with the syrup and the
Exactly.
bread.
But it was made with a lot of love.
Yes. Wow. Awesome. Well, Sheriff Stephens, in making history, and just being that trailblazer, that's what I think when I see you, I see, man, such a trailblazer.
Thank you.
And so, what are you hoping that other women and women of color what do you hope, because I know people have what they want to take away from it, but what do you hope people take away from what happened with you?
Well,
and God just picking you for this moment.
Right. Again, even for my daughter or other young ladies, I think it's important that they understand that you can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
I think the other important thing is it's not going to be easy. I mean, on the primary of my election, they shot at my campaign headquarters and yelled the N-word.
Wow.
I expected. and I expected bad stuff to happen. I never expected that. And, I was okay, but I had my dad and my mom there, and, and so I never worry about myself. I worry about other people.
Right, because that hit home. Those are people that you love that were put in the line of fire, literally.
And when you run for an office, or when you take that responsibility, even though I sat down and decided to run, I talked to my daughter, talked to my mom and dad, and my husband, and I said to them, are y'all ready for this? Because I knew it's not just a decision that I have to make, because it's going to affect a lot of other people. People are going to say hateful, ugly things. People do things. We are still in the South. Everybody's not happy to see a woman, a black woman, in a very
authoritative position.
It's an authoritative position, but traditionally law enforcement roles have been male roles. And if you look at the history of what law enforcement is about, it was to track slaves. And so now we transcend to 2016 when I'm running for office. Everybody's not going to be happy about that, whether it's historical or great. Everybody's not going to be happy about that.
Well, one of the things I remember during that time was that, we had the election was going one way over here and another way over here. And it was just good. It was good to wake up when I woke up that morning. And I'm just going to be honest, I woke up and it was surreal, like nationally, like, oh my Lord, what's going on? But then locally, I was like, oh wow, we just made history, in this state. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm from Texas. You probably can tell we never think that we sound like we're from Texas. To everyone else,
I've said y'all 5 times. So
really?
Yeah,
I know everybody knows that.
when I travel, they always, they were like, wow, you're really from Texas.
Yeah. And that's funny because I can tell that, but with myself, and I've run into people and they say, oh, you're from Texas. And I was like, I thought I was doing pretty good hiding that. And I'm pretty sure you get that a lot.
I do.
You travel a lot. Man, and I get to see you. I get to follow you on Facebook. And I get to see you move around and all that. So they're keeping you pretty busy.
Yeah, and I enjoy that. I am. I think it's important to see how other people do things. I think it's not healthy. That's education. That's a form of education. So I'm always trying to, learn. Especially when we're talking about policing, I understand we're still in the South, and so to me a big thing is to find professionals, and in order to do that, you got to move around, and attract professionals.
Yeah, wow, right, wow. So that's a good reason to move around, and then just getting to meet new people and make those connections and relationships, and preferably. Get some of those people to relocate to the areas that, that you're in. Because I love Jefferson County. You might be absorbing me.
Yeah. Well,
would you take me first of all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we always want good people in Jefferson County. When I ran for sheriff, one of the things my daughter, she lives in Austin now, and she says, Mom, why are you doing that? Why, she wanted us to retire and go somewhere else. Yeah. And so part of what I said to her was, if all the good people bail, then you leave communities without good people.
Wow.
And so I think it's important to stay here and make a difference and change mindsets. And in doing that, are we going to upset people? Yep. But can we make a difference? And in the short time that I've been sheriff, my agency is much more diverse. We have hired many more people in command positions, and not because they're black or women, but because they're professionals who happen to be black and women.
Because they're qualified.
Exactly, exactly. And I keep hearing people always say is you can't find qualified minorities. Where are you looking?
Yeah.
And so I'm making it it is important to me to find those individuals and give them the opportunity. And it's funny because probably a couple weeks ago, someone sent me a letter that they were suing me because I was a racist because I passed up a white male who had been in our agency, and in his opinion, thought he was more qualified than some of the other folks. And it's just funny, that old saying, now the rabbit got the gun.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. Sheriff Stephens is doing a lot of hiring down there, so if this doesn't work out for me, I'm going to apply down there.
Yeah, come on.
So she wants us to stay involved. She wants you guys to stay local, and we want you to stay here. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a place to shop, have fun, and feel empowered, and connect with other women who are just like, well, you? Welcome to Curve Game Matters. Here, we believe every woman is beautiful. Our goal is to instill body positivity in all women, regardless of race, ethnicity, shape, or size. Because a figure with curves offers a lot of interesting angles, we offer an array of accessories and products on our website that caters to the curvy goddess in you. We've got beautiful t-shirts, hoodies, socks, and totes, fashion calendars. We even have a book entitled Curve Game Matters that puts an emphasis on the importance of what it means to have a positive body image and healthy self-esteem. Every woman's God-given beauty is unique. That's why Curve Game Matters is not just a brand, it's a movement. Join us by visiting us online today at curvegamematters.com.
Welcome back, everyone. So, Sheriff Stephens, there's a philosophy that I've heard that women of color have to work harder than everyone else. Do you believe that to be true, or what are your feelings about it?
Well, I never like to generalize. I do believe that there are different expectations for women, especially for women of color. And it was real simple, even when I campaigned. My male counterparts could just kind of roll into a debate or roll into something, brush their hair, put on a jacket in there. If I show up and I'm not looking fly, then, what's wrong with her? She's running for office, and so I think it's important to note, not just women of color, excuse me, but I think all of us. If we leave the house, your hair has to be looking nice, you better have your makeup, and so that's an unfair standard, but it is a standard. If I'm going to get elected, I have to have an appearance. I think we have to be better educated, and I also find that women, we're our own worst critics.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow, yeah.
In terms of, I could have, credentials, I could have, 28 years of experience, and some of my male counterparts had none of those things, And I was even asked, why are you running against, it's his term. That was said to me. And so, I found that interesting because I filed to run before anybody else.
Yeah. And so it really wasn't about running against
Right.
anyone.
Right.
Exactly.
It was about you doing what you felt
Exactly.
compelled and
You
led to do.
living out your purpose,
Right.
too, because
And one of the things that you just shared, and I wanted to just piggyback on that about with myself, that sometimes even as women of color, when you get involved in politics or you get involved, in your case, another level of authority, and in a lot of ways, like you said, you had to run, so a lot of politics in it, that when you come in with a different opinion, your counterpart can have an opinion, and people are glad that they're voicing their opinion, but you can come in with an opinion, and you're seen as combative. And so, you have to fight that.
Well, and I tell young women who I employ in supervisory roles, one thing that I noticed, I've been a supervisor for many years now, and men, especially men, hear what you say louder than you say it. I don't raise my voice. You can ask my husband, the people who work for me. But during the duration of my career, when I give an order, the same order a male would give, it's really bad.
I know I would take your order without any problem.
And so I think that people react to women, so when I teach young girls who are going into leadership roles, and I do a lot of leadership training, that's one of the things I share with them. Be mindful of how you deliver the message, because people receive what you say differently.
Yeah.
And so, I've gotten really good at that, and I am really, I choose my words if I'm disciplining somebody, really careful, just because I think, through years of experience I've learned that people hear what you say differently.
right.
Especially because we're females. And I don't know why that is.
I don't know, yeah.
But it certainly happens. And I've talked to other leaders that are women, and they agree with me on that. So.
Yeah, and I've even had people say, if you are passionate about something, You know, I've had a male counterpart tell me once, "Don't be so emotional," and I was like, I'm not being emotional.
I get, yeah.
This is my passion.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just was sharing that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sharing about, sharing about justice, and at the time I happened to be sharing about, what we're teaching as leaders outside of outside of our positions in the cities and counties and all that. I was talking about church leadership actually, and I said, what are we teaching people who influence communities Monday through Friday? What are we teaching them on Sunday?
Right.
And so I just happened to share that, and they were like, "You being emotional," and I was like,
And
"I was just sharing."
I find that insulting because I'm a
Yeah.
professional. When people tell me that too, and that's why I pay very close attention to how I deliver that, so they can't say
they
that I'm
can't
being
say that.
emotional.
Wow.
And I've learned to do that over a period of time. Another point that you brought up, was the decisions that you make. Me as a leader, decisions that I make, everybody's not going to be happy with those decisions.
Yeah.
And so, I heard the other day that I fired a bunch of people when I took office, and I really didn't. But when I decided to run, from a leadership standpoint, I am not going to be status quo.
Yeah.
So if you come to work and you are treating people in minority communities, LGBT community, people unfairly,
Yeah.
if you're not doing your job, then you're not going to stay here. If you don't share the passion that I have
Right, as a leader.
and the compassion that I have for people, you can't work here. And
Yeah.
so some people, not still have a job at the Sheriff's Department because of that? Certainly.
Yeah.
But I think it's unfair to expect me to keep people when the other politicians or other elected officials
Can hire
Well,
those
yeah, because
that
they're
match their passion
categorizing
and
you.
their vision.
Right.
And so really what happened is that it's not that I fired those, I hired those that shared my vision.
Well, that's one of the things I did. I made everybody in the whole agency fill out an application.
Yeah.
Every secretary, every support
Wow.
staff member, every cop. I don't care how long you've been there.
Yeah.
And of course, I got a lot of attention.
Maybe they say it's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah,
It made the newspaper, but I made everybody do that, and they had to write down, what views that they may share with
Wow.
me, and so I think that it shouldn't be something that you assume that you're going to have a job with me just because, you've been here 30 years. Because I tell people all the time, you could work at a job and be a slug for 30 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't make you
No one is
good.
indispensable.
Right.
But I think over across the nation, that the things that have shifted our nation are causing a new breed of leaders to come up, and that new breed of leaders are saying, "Hold on, you're not entitled to it.
Right.
Let me see your heart."
And that's a good word.
Yeah.
The sense of entitlement that I've run across,
Yeah.
and it just breeds,
Yes.
where people sit there or they come and get a check and they don't want to do any work.
Yeah.
And my big thing is being mean to people. I don't like to be mean to people.
Yeah.
So the decisions that I make sometimes are not easy. I don't take taking somebody's job, first of all, because their family members probably don't deserve it.
Yeah.
They don't know that you're a slug at work.
Yeah.
And so,
I tell you thinking, baby.
and
You can always
Yeah.
tell the wisdom, because I wouldn't think about that. I wouldn't even think about the family, but so much wisdom.
and that bothers me because, because of this person's action,
Yeah.
it could affect, his wife or his kids and
Right.
stuff. And so I don't take it lightly. Generally,
That's powerful.
I try to, see what I can live with, what the agency can live with.
Yeah.
There are some individuals that, that just cannot work at the Sheriff's Department.
Right.
Everybody that wants to be a police officer or corrections officer can't.
It's not
and
meant to
shouldn't.
be for them, right?
Yeah.
Well, and and speaking of that, I see, on your Facebook page and social media and newspapers and articles, I see you a lot in the community, and so I think you're changing the face of law enforcement in your community, in your region. So, what do you think about that? Do you feel like now that there is this embracing going on, and there's a sense of trust coming back?
Yeah, and that's a big deal for me. My command staff will tell you that's part of the criteria for me to promote you. You can't just be have academic achievement. You can't just be great at the range. I'm looking for people to be on my team who will go out in the community and engage.
Yeah.
Not superficial, fake community policing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Being
being in the community,
Yes.
enjoying being in the community,
Yes.
not to impress me because it's election time or impress the community.
Yeah.
I'm in the community all the time because I like people. It's my community and I'm trying to make a difference. And so my staff will tell you, and they laugh, the joke is, don't let the sheriff find out before they find out. It's almost impossible because I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
And so people talk to me. And so that makes them go out and be everywhere because they don't want me to find out stuff before they
So you're keeping everybody on their toes
Yeah.
while the community's keeping you on yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Sheriff Stephens says that she is everywhere, and she is. You guys can keep up with her on Facebook and what she is doing, and I think it's important that you keep up with her because I think that she is not just a role model for her region, but for our nation. You guys keep up with Sheriff Zena Stephens. Follow her. See the great work that she is doing in Jefferson County in Texas. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for our trading segment.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Zena Stephens in Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas, and you're watching Angle.
Are you looking for a place to shop, have fun, and feel empowered, and connect with other women who are just like, well, you? Welcome to Curve Game Matters. Here, we believe every woman is beautiful. Our goal is to instill body positivity in all women, regardless of race, ethnicity, shape, or size. Because a figure with curves offers a lot of interesting angles, we offer an array of accessories and products on our website that caters to the curvy goddess in you. We've got beautiful t-shirts, hoodies, socks, and totes, fashion calendars. We even have a book entitled Curve Game Matters that puts an emphasis on the importance of what it means to have a positive body image and healthy self-esteem. Every woman's God-given beauty is unique. That's why Curve Game Matters is not just a brand, it's a movement. Join us by visiting us online today at curvegamematters.com.
Welcome back. We are here for our trading segment. And I know some of you probably wonder, what is trading all about? You're going to hear a lot about trading. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have a book coming out real soon. It's finished, but we have some finishing touches to do. So you're going to hear a lot about trading and Trade Nation and what it's all about. But when you hear the word Trade Nation, I want you to hear about just a group of people emerging. And this group of people are just taking life and saying, hey, I'm not going to let you live me. I'm here to live you. And so that's what trading is all about, okay? So whenever we talk about the word trading, we're talking about Joshua. When God told Joshua, I have given you everywhere the sole of your foot has tread. And it's in Joshua, the first chapter. And so before it came to that point, so like, what is trading all about? You know, tell us more about trading, because I get that all the time. Tell us more about trading. Well, listen, before God told Joshua that, you know, the philosophy about leadership was different. The philosophy about progress was different. The philosophies about advancement was different. And so there was a transition in leadership, and that transition in leadership caused there to be a transition in what we saw. So prior to Joshua taking over as the leader, Moses was the leader. I don't have any problem with Moses. I love Moses. I'm gonna one day see Moses probably. And so I don't want no problems when I see him. But let me tell you what happened was this. Moses was just leading people, and the Bible says that they were going in circles. Okay, then all of a sudden, Joshua takes over, and Joshua says immediately as the leader, we're not going in circles anymore, we're going forward. And so I'll share more with you guys every week about trading, but today I want to talk about unlearning the limits. We know to learn some things, but we have to also know that we need to unlearn some things. And so let's talk about someone who had to unlearn some limits. When you read the story about Peter stepping out of the boat, I want you to remember that the boat is those limits that we all face. The boat are those things, those silent rules and silent laws that affect all of our lives. And so it may be something that says, if you don't have a degree, this, or if you don't have this, that, whatever the case may be, those silent laws that we feel like because of that standard, or because of that silent law, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, the Bible says that Peter and the other disciples, they were all in the boat. They were crossing over to the other side, and all of a sudden, Jesus came to them walking on the water. There was a storm that had already started emerging on the water, and so they were frightened by this storm. And here comes Christ walking on the water, and it says that they yelled out and said, "It's a ghost." I love this story. It's just one of my favorite stories. So they yelled out and said, "It's a ghost." And then Christ spoke to them, and he said, he spoke, and Peter said, "If it's you, bid me to come." What Peter did was this. He invited God to change his perspective on something. He invited God into the equation. I told you guys about recalculating before. Recalculating means add something else to the equation. It means add something else. Maybe you have had a bad day. Maybe you've had a bad week, a bad month. But add God to it. And I'm so thankful. I was just thinking, I was like, every time we add God to it, he makes it, he takes us out of the negative into the positive. But Peter is in this boat with the other 12, but he's the only one that invites God in to change his mentality. Now that's powerful, because the other 11 sat in the boat still believing that it was a ghost. And Peter says, "If it's you, tell me to come." And Christ invited him out of the boat. He invited him out of the limits. Man, God is inviting us out of the limits. He is inviting us out of the boat, out of those things that hold us back, that limit us, and that tell us, you can't have it. You can't do it. You can't accomplish it. You can't fulfill it. And I want to challenge you to defy those odds. I want to challenge you to defy those limits. I want to challenge you to defy those boundaries, because you don't have to be held prisoner to the boat. So all of a sudden, Peter did something. He unlearned. He says, "You know what? I know that that's the boundary that was set in place, but let me unlearn that boundary." And then the next thing he did was he unleashed. Now on this show, we typically talk about hot topics and the things that affect our lives day to day. And we're going to continue to talk about that, but we also want to take the time out to give honor to God, to give glory to God, and to point our viewers to God. Because at the end of the day, it is God who is the strength of our lives, and he is the source of our strength. And so Peter says, "I'm stepping out of this boat." He gets out of the boat, and he does what I like to call unleash. For one moment of him walking on that water, he unleashed another Peter. He allowed another version of himself to come forward. And so that's what I want to share with you guys today. Instead of living within these limits that have been placed on us, one of the things I always remind myself, because, coming up, I came up in a home where my grandmother raised us. My mom had 5 kids. My grandmother raised all 5 of us. And, there were standards that people set on our lives. They felt like, because we were raised and we didn't have, there were statistics, I'll say that. They tried to shape our lives with these statistics by saying, because your mom wasn't present, and because dad wasn't around, and because you guys didn't have a certain income, and because who was raising you only had a certain level of education, they had all of these limits, then that must mean your life will be like this, or that must mean you will experience that. Coming out here and chasing your dream, that wasn't something that people were going to give you permission to do. But here is a God who sees that there is a greater capacity in you, and that you can do something greater, and he invites you out of those limits. Hallelujah. He invites us out of those limits and invites us to go into those areas that we have feared walking in. And all we have to do is keep our eyes on him. So that's what Peter did. Peter said, no more abiding by these limits. And I want you guys to do the same thing. I want you to take the time right now to think about, what are those limits that life is telling me you got to stay right here? That mom or dad or friends, statistics Statistics said at the age of 15 I was a mother. Statistics said at the age of 17 I would be again. At 19 I would be again. What are the limits that life is trying to place on you that you can defy on today? Because I defy those limits, and I'm defying limits every day, and I want to invite you to do the same thing. So when we invite you to join Angles, we don't just invite you to come and sit and drink and have your morning coffee or have your afternoon tea or what, because we're on demand whenever you're watching us. We're not inviting you to just come and watch. We're inviting you to come and take this journey with us as well. Okay? And so I hope that you guys have been blessed by that, because at the end of the day, we don't want you to just be entertained. We want you to be impacted. We want you to be challenged to grow. We want you to be challenged to come up. And we want to take our place in society as leaders who are not just, not just using our platform for ourselves, but using our platform to influence others as well. So stick around. We have a lot of great things coming up in our show. We have a lot of great things that are coming up right after this. And we hope you're enjoying it thus far. Don't forget to join us on Facebook. I want you guys to let me know what you feel about treading, and let me know about some subjects that you're being challenged in. If you're being challenged with depression and all these other things, let me know. Let us know so that we can come out and share a word with you guys that can help you overcome those things. We don't want you to be overcome by those things. We want you to overcome those things with truth, with grace, and we want you to overcome them knowing there's a God that's inviting you to victory. All right? I hope you enjoyed this trading segment. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a place to shop, have fun, and feel empowered, and connect with other women who are just like, you? Welcome to Curve Game Matters. Here, we believe every woman is beautiful. Our goal is to instill body positivity in all women, regardless of race, ethnicity, shape, or size. Because a figure with curves offers a lot of interesting angles, we offer an array of accessories and products on our website that caters to the curvy goddess in you. We've got beautiful t-shirts, hoodies, socks, and totes, fashion calendars. We even have a book entitled Curve Game Matters that puts an emphasis on the importance of what it means to have a positive body image and healthy self-esteem. Every woman's God-given beauty is unique. That's why Curve Game Matters is not just a brand, it's a movement. Join us by visiting us online today at curvegamematters.com.
Well, guys, we thank you guys for being with us. We had a great show today.
We had an awesome show today.
We had a powerful show.
Yes, powerful. That's the word.
It was a powerful show. Just to have someone like Sheriff Stephens here with us, knowing that we're sitting with, I'm going to call her a legend. We're sitting with a legend and someone to make history. It's hard to make history, because so many great things are done every day.
Exactly.
But to make history, and to make history in her region, in her state, and nationally, in the country.
I know.
Yes.
And she not only made history for women, she made history for women of color.
Yeah.
And just black people as a whole. I mean, that's a phenomenal thing that she's done.
Yeah.
And she has put in the work. You can tell her passion.
Yes.
is doing and making people and her city better.
Yes, and you know what? I think she's going to take me on a special trip. I don't know. She's been
We'll just speak
been
it
back,
into
so I'm just
existence.
hoping that she's going to let me hang out with her just a little bit more. I want to absorb all that good black girl magic that she has going on.
It's just awesome to be around good people.
Yeah.
And that's what she is. She's an awesome person.
Yes, I love that. I love the toughness, but the vulnerability at the same time.
Yes.
And just to even hear her share about, hey, even on my end, sometimes the expectations, there are things that bother me. Sometimes the expectations are not fair, but I make it through it. That was powerful to me. I make it through it. And so we're so excited, and this is just a good show. It was a good show. We talked about a lot of great topics. We want to know if you guys feel the weight and the pressure of trying to mask positivity, or if you feel free. If you feel like, hey, I'm not masking it, I'm not gonna act like my life is all put together. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you guys and say sometimes I tell people off in my head. I'm not gonna say what I really want to say because probably my pastor's watching this pastor. You know.
Or if you are free, or if you have felt the burden and figured out how to become free of it,
and you
share that with us. Hey, we are always looking for ways to better ourselves and our viewers, because everybody's on Facebook, everybody's checking. I'm checking. Don't forget Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yes.
All of that. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your angle.
Yeah, we want to hear your perspective on things. And so we have been all month, we've been talking about the power of positivity. And so we don't want to take away from it. There's power in it.
There is.
There's power in the balance too. And so there is power in it. So we want everyone to just know that we are all for being positive. You know what I wanted to say? I wanted to just again, thank the MCM Elegante and how nice they've been with us. And so we have just so many great people that have come on board with us. Make sure you guys stay tuned to all of the things on our network with UBN, Urban Broadcasting Network, Our Style Television. Make sure you stay in the loop about what's going on, because we got a lot of great things coming up, and this is a poppin', upcoming, emerging great work.
Now,
great work.
Have we even told them yet how they can download the network?
If you go, we're on Amazon TV, Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick. We're going to cable Wi-Fi. We're moving fast. And so you guys download the Urban Broadcasting Network app so that you don't miss out. And the good thing about this is, if you missed the show, you can always go back and watch the show, because it's set up to where you can go back and catch all the episodes that you missed. We are on demand, and we in demand.
Yeah, we know that you don't want to miss us.
Yes.
So make sure that you download it. Make sure that you're keeping up with us on social media, and we'll be here.
Yeah. What you say? Well, we'll be here. Of course we're gonna be here. Where we going? But listen, I have enjoyed this show. We have enjoyed this episode. Sheriff Stephens is coming back. I can sit with her every day, but she says she's coming back. We hope you guys enjoy the show.
Yes.
And we will see you next week on Angles.